Hey there, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in and taking a second to check out my video. I'm really excited to show you some basics about the drum set. First of all, I'd like to take a second and say a big thank you to everybody over at Community Works for giving us this opportunity to reach out and connect with people like you. All right. What we're going to cover today in my video, I should take a second and introduce myself as well. I'm sorry about that. My name is Zach. I've been here in New Orleans for a little over a year now. I moved out here from California with the hopes of playing some music. And it's been a real delight to be able to do that. Okay, now back to our subject. What we're going to cover today, excuse me while I get a little more settled. What I want to do today with you is go over one way that we can approach the drum set. And that is to look at what it is we do with our hands. So for this video, if you don't have a pair of drumsticks, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. You can get 2 sticks of any kind and work on the techniques I'm going to show you, but it will be way more helpful if you have a pair of drumsticks. So mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, if there's anybody in those categories out there watching this video, great opportunity to take a second, run over to Ray Franson's drum shop over in Metairie, pick yourself up a pair of drumsticks. All the kids will love it, and I'm sure you will have a great time listening to them practice their paradiddles, single stroke rolls, double stroke rolls, press rolls, all the different kind of strokes that I want to talk about today in this video. All right, now let's get into it. So once you've got your drumsticks, the next thing you're going to need is something to play on. I have what's called a practice pad right here in front of me, and I'm going to use it to demonstrate the ideas I'm talking about today. You can use a book with a little piece of paper over it or something so you don't scuff up the cover of the book. You can actually even, a really good substitute practice pad is just taking a shoe, turning it over, and holding it in between your legs, because the rubber bottom of the shoe acts as a great surface to play against because it's got some natural rebound. And speaking of rebound, that's a great place to start. So sometimes when we see drummers playing, it looks like they're moving their arms really hard and lifting themselves up really high and using all the muscles in their shoulders and in their elbows. And that can be a way to get a very loud and aggressive sound. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is a way that instead of getting just a huge loud sound all the time and wearing yourself out and actually starting to hurt yourself at some point, we can start to use what I just talked about a second ago, rebound. So when we play the drums, one of the things that we're really doing is we are controlling how the stick comes down and hits the drum surface and how it bounces back up. That bouncing back up is called rebound. And that's what we're going to learn how to control. And the way that we start out doing that is by how we hold the drumstick. So there's at least 4 different ways to hold the drumstick that I know of, but my favorite way to hold the drumstick is a way that my drum teacher, Scott Amendola, taught me, which is, he said, the only technique that is bad technique is the technique that hurts you. And I thought that was pretty profound. It gave me all the flexibility in the world to find out the way that worked best for me to control the rebound of the sticks. And that's really what we're going for. And I know you can't see what I just did on my practice pad, but I'm going to include some clips later in the video to show you what's actually going on the practice pad. So, the most important thing that we're really working on is how the stick comes off the drum head and how we control that. That's the thing that we work on for the rest of our lives as drummers. The more control we have over that rebound effect, the more control we have over the way the drum set as a whole sounds. It's the basis of our touch, which is the basis of our sound. As drummers, we are in control of the dynamic range of the music, meaning how quiet it is at any one point or how loud it can get. And we do that by the way that we control the rebound of the sticks. Yes. Now, you may be wondering, just how am I going to practice that rebound concept, Zach? And don't worry, I'm here to tell you. What we're going to do is we're going to learn 2 of the 4 principal drum strokes. So, you can do what's called a single stroke roll, which is just as simple as it sounds. You let the drumstick hit the drum head once and come back. Hit the drum head once and come back. Hit the drum head once, come back. Hit the drum head once. Hit the drum head once. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Let me show you what I'm doing. Single stroke roll, single stroke roll, single stroke roll, single stroke roll, single stroke roll. So, as you can see, it's just right, left, 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 right, left. Or we also practice always starting with whichever hand is not our dominant hand. For me, I tend to start all my exercises with my right hand because I'm right-handed. It's very important to also start any exercise that you work on with your weak hand or your non-dominant hand, which for me is my left hand. Might not be your left hand, you might be left-handed, which means you'll have to make sure that you pay extra special attention and always practice any exercise you are doing on the drum set starting with your right hand. We call that either right hand lead if you start an exercise with your right hand, or left hand lead if you start an exercise with your left hand. So if I'm going to practice my single stroke roll, making sure I start with both hands, one will be right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and the other will be left, right, 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 left, just like that. Yeah. All right. So back to the idea of rebound, because it exists when we're here doing this, what is a very simple exercise, but it's a very, very important one to get you off to the right start when you're practicing the drums. So it's not, if you'll notice, I'm not going right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Obviously I'm exaggerating just ever so slightly with my shoulders and my arms. You see, I'm not using my whole arm and shoulder to make the drumstick just crash into that practice pad. What I'm really doing is I'm using, I'll show you, I'm using my fingers and my wrist. And that's really what we want to be focusing on. It might be a little bit much to start with, but you know what? That's what we're going to do because it's the right way to start. We want to make sure that when the drumstick hits the practice pad or your shoe or a book, if that's what you're using to practice on, that we are not preventing it from bouncing back up. We are letting our hand be loose enough around the drumstick that it will bounce back up, in this case, back into the frame. Again, I'll show another clip of what my hand is doing exactly in a second. And the reason we want it to bounce back up is because what it does is, as our drumstick hits the whatever surface we're playing on, it kicks out. You see how it's pushed my fingers out like this? That's what we want. Because once it's pushed my fingers out like this, all I have to do is close my hand, and that pushes the tip of the drumstick back down. So I get 2 for the price of 1. And if I can start coordinating how my left and right hand are working together, I can start doing single stroke rolls for a long, long time with very little effort on my part. And we work on building up the speed and the coordination between our hands so that we can control that rebound, because that's really what we want. We don't want to choke the drumstick into the head of the drum and just keep our hands clamped really tight on the back of the drumstick the whole time. We want to allow the natural rebound of the stick to push our fingers out, and then we just want to close our fingers, because that will mean that the drumstick goes down, up, and then it goes from up, back, down, and then we just lift it up and start the process over again. And it goes on like that forever and always, forever and always, forever and always. That's our first lesson. It's going to be the single stroke roll. That's the exercise we're using, and the technique we're focusing on is controlling the rebound, okay? That's the idea. Now let me show you what it looks like if I turn the camera towards my hands. So I'm just going to do it with my right hand so that you have access, so you can see what is happening with my fingers. So you see, I'll start with the drumstick in the up position. I'm going to throw, almost it's like throwing the drumstick into the head of the drum, in this case the practice pad, and you see as it hits the drum, it kicks the back of the drumstick down, which opens up my fingers. And then all I have to do is close my fingers, and the drumstick goes back to the drum head, and then I just lift it up. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Same thing with my left hand, but it'll look a little different, obviously, because you're looking at the outside of my hand. Open, close, open, close, open, close. And then if we put them together, it goes open, open, close, close, open, open, close, close, open, open, close, close, open, open, close, close. And that's the technique that we're working on, because it doesn't take almost any effort on my part at all to close my fingers. I mean, you can just practice that right here. How much effort does that take? That doesn't take almost any effort at all. That's pretty easy. Contrast that with using my whole arm. If I'm using my whole arm to whip the drumstick into the head of the drum, I promise you, after playing for about 5 minutes like that, you're going to need to take a Gatorade break and have someone come towel you off like you're in the Olympics. It's way too much effort, and it sounds not very good after a while. Only if you're playing like heavy metal doom music in a giant airplane hangar. Even then it doesn't sound good, and you don't really need all that energy to get a nice sound out of your drums. In fact, you get a kind of you'll overplay your drums if you are hitting them that hard. That's why we want to practice open, close, open, close, open, close. And you see, as I get faster, I'm almost not moving my hand at all. It's going so fast, it's like lightning speed. So that's the first of the strokes that we're going to talk about. The single stroke. One stroke at a time. 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 That's it. I bet you can guess what the next stroke is. It's called a double stroke. That's right. And that means there's 2 hits from the drumstick. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's the same idea as the single stroke, except when the drumstick goes down into the head of the drum and we let it rebound and we open our fingers, we're going to close our fingers so that the tip of the drumstick hits the drum head again and bring our hand back up before the other hand starts. So it goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. And I know it will be hard to practice slowly because there is a tendency when we get around drums to want to play loud and very fast as we can, and with as much energy as we possibly can. And I know that because I do that same thing all the time. It's very, very fun to do that. But if we want to play fast, we want to make sure we're playing with a great deal of sensitivity and control. And the way to get to that point, just like with anything in life, is you got to start slow so that you know you're doing it correctly, so that you can get to a point where your body just knows it and your mind doesn't have to think every single time I'm putting my hand down and pointing back up. Okay, I'm not thinking every time, okay, Zach, you're going to go down with your hand, your fingers are going to open, then you're going to close your fingers and bring your stick back up before your left hand goes. Nuh-uh. That would be way too much effort. I want to just be at my drum set and be thinking about everything else except all those little nitpicky details. I want to be thinking about the way my drum set sounds as a whole instrument. I want to make sure that my head is up and my heart is open and I'm connecting to the musicians around me, that I'm listening to the whole sound that we're creating together. And I don't have enough time to be thinking about all those technique things. So I need to make sure I spend time by myself thinking about all that stuff so that I can have it intuitively, I can have it inside of me once I get on the stage. So that's why it's really important to practice slowly and patiently when you're by yourself so you can get it right, okay? I know that's not as much fun as just rocking out all the time. And it's important to rock out sometimes, but right now we're going to go slow and methodical. What we're going to do is, I'm going to start with my left hand this time, okay? Because like I said, you got to make sure that you start with your non-dominant or your weak hand for everything that you do. So for me, that's my left. So here we go. It's going to start like this. We're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You can follow along if you want right now. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And I'm making sure that every time the tip of my drumstick goes into the practice pad, my fingers are coming open and then close. Going open, close, open, close. Oops, open, close, open, closed. Open, closed, open, closed. Open, closed, open, closed. And I'm bringing my drumsticks way up high right now so that you can see them, and also because it's giving me a nice stretch in my wrist. Nice stretch in my wrist. So I'm doing a number of things. I'm showing you what's going on, and I'm also giving myself a nice little wrist yoga action. I like that a lot. I think I would suggest that you can do the same thing, especially when you're starting out and we're going, well, see there? I just got a little bit too fast. Very easy to go too fast when you're doing your warm-ups. I would suggest bringing the drumstick all the way into this full stretch position when you're doing your doubles. Also, when you're doing your singles. Alright, here's another angle of me doing a double stroke roll so you can see what my fingers look like. So here's the doubles. Down, up, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, closed, 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 open, closed. See how when I'm closing my hands, it's bringing the drumstick down, and I'm actually using that moment to kind of like whip the drumstick off the drum head. It's hitting and I'm pulling it back up in one motion. That's the first stroke of the double. That's the second. First, second, first, second, first, second. It's kind of like cocking a gun. It's like I've got to have the drumstick pointed up so I can push it into the drum head, and in order to get it back up after that second stroke, I need to pull it back up. So that's the first, second. It's like fire, reload, fire, reload, fire, reload. Got to have it back up here so I can fire off that first shot. Reload, fire, reload, fire, reload. And we're trying to make all of the strokes into the drum head the same volume. We're trying to make them equal so that when we do end up getting faster, the idea is to try and get them to be one continuous sound. We're trying to have it be a continuous flow of sound. I know that sounds a little funny because each time the drumstick hits the head of the drum, it's a new sound. But imagine taking a bunch of very small dots and putting them so close together that it ends up making one solid shape, one solid mass. That's kind of what we're trying to do with our drum sounds, with our drumsticks. You can imagine each time the drumstick makes a sound, it's one dot in this auditory picture that we're trying to draw, and we're trying to make each dot the same so that they blend in together and make one consistent mass. That's the idea, is to try and get them to be as even as possible. And there's always room for improvement here, and it will be something that you can fall in love with now and continue to develop a love with for the rest of your life. Because the drums are something, like all instruments, that continue evolving with you. All right, now that we have our technique, which is this open close idea with the drumsticks, and we have two different strokes to work with, the single stroke and the double stroke. Let's see what happens when we put all this together. Now, drum rudiments, meaning like the individual ideas or individual letters that we as drummers learn to memorize, we memorize and we learn to put together to make interesting statements, or we like to say phrases. One of the first rudiments you can learn is called a paradiddle. They all have funny names like that, so the sooner that we can start associating things like paradiddles or double paradiddles, flamadiddles, all those fun different words that we as drummers use to talk about what it is we're doing, the quicker we can associate that with like a superhero power or a superpower, the better it will be for us. That's what I do. I think of all these different rudiments as being like different superpowers, and it's kind of like I'm saying a spell, like paradiddle, like Expelliarmus, or something like that. Anyways, I've gotten off track. Anyways, what I want to talk about is the first rudiment that we can learn now that we have our technique, this drop stroke. we have two different strokes. We have our single stroke roll and we have our double stroke roll. The first one that we learn is called a paradiddle. It's combining single stroke rolls with double stroke rolls. And the way it works is it goes single, paradiddle, paradiddle, single, double, paradiddle, paradiddle, single, single, double, double, paradiddle, paradiddle, single, single, double. And what's happening is when I do the double, it means the next round of singles starts on what? Starts on the other hand. So if I start this exercise on my right hand, I can go through one paradiddle, which is single stroke, double, paradiddle, and then I start over with my left hand, paradiddle, which puts me where? Back to my right hand where I started. Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. Just like that. Let me show you another angle so you can see what my hands are doing. So it goes like this. Single, single, double stroke. That's me starting with my right hand, and then we start over with our left hand. We go single stroke, double. So the first double is with your right hand, the second double is with your left hand. Let's see it again. It goes single, single, double, and then it starts with your left hand. Single, single, double. And we can put those together without stopping in the middle, and we'll get a flow through a paradiddle. Paradiddle, 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 whoopsies. Paradiddle, 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 pair. Just like that. Actually, let's do it slow. Let's slow it down again. So it goes paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. Just like that. Now that you've got those tools in your toolkit, I invite you to go out and practice them. Make sure that you remember the most important thing is, let me get my drumsticks again, that the only bad technique is a technique that hurts you. So find a way to hold the drumsticks that is going to allow them to bounce freely off whatever surface it is you're playing against. Something that feels good for you. That's the most important thing right now. Let's just start there. And that you're learning to control what? Rebound. You're learning to control rebound. Like a ball bouncing on a court. A ball bouncing on a table. We're learning to control the bounce of that ball. That's what we're doing as drummers. We're controlling the bounce of the ball. And we're doing that with our single strokes. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. We're doing that with our double strokes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're putting those together into our very first rudiment called paradiddle. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. All right? Happy practicing, and I'll see you next video. Again, thanks for stopping by and taking some time to watch my instructional video. I hope you have a really good day.